We had just finished dinner. Karen was clearing the plates, humming some songs she'd been obsessed with that week. I was scrolling through emails when she turned around and said, "Can we talk for a second?" I looked up. "Sure. What's up?" She sat across from me at the table, folded her hands, and gave me that overly serious look she gets when she's about to make something way bigger than it needs to be. "I've been doing a lot of thinking lately," she started. "Reading, reflecting, working through some things." I nodded. She took a breath. "I've realized I'm polyamorous. It's not a phase or a whim. It's who I am." I just stared at her. "What?" Karen brushed her hair behind her ear like she was annoyed. I didn't immediately clap. "It's something I've known deep down for a long time. I just never felt safe enough to be open about it. So what does that mean for us?" I asked. "It means I need freedom to explore connections with other people emotionally, physically. I don't believe love should be boxed into just one relationship. That's not how I'm wired." I leaned back in my chair, trying to absorb it. "So you want to date other people while we're still together?" "I don't want to. I am going to, and I'd like you to be okay with that. You're giving me a choice." Karen shook her head. "No, I'm telling you what's true for me. If you can't accept it, that's your decision, but I won't keep living a lie just to make you comfortable." "And is there someone already?" I asked. She hesitated. "His name's Julian. He works with me. We've been talking, connecting. So this is already in motion. It's ethical if I'm honest with you, and I am being honest now. I need you to evolve with me, Henry, or this won't work." I looked at her steadily. "Okay," I said. "I accept it." Her face lit up. "Really?" "Really." But I didn't say what I was accepting. Not out loud. Karen was glowing the next morning. She made coffee, played music in the kitchen, kissed me on the cheek like everything was normal. "Thank you for being open-minded," she said. "This is going to be good for us." I nodded and took a sip. "So how does this work?" She perked up, excited to educate me. "There are a few ground rules I think we should follow. Protection always, obviously. No dating people we both know, and full transparency. We keep each other in the loop. No secrets." "Sounds fair," I said. She smiled like I'd passed a test. "You're handling this way better than I thought." She went out that night, told me she and Julian were going to a poetry reading downtown. I said, "Cool, have fun." She left wearing a dress I hadn't seen in months. I stayed home, watched a movie, and tried to pretend it didn't feel like she just ripped a hole in our relationship and called it growth. 3 days later, her cousin Natalie showed up. Karen had mentioned she might stop by, said she was in between apartments after a breakup. I didn't expect her to stay more than a night or two. She brought one suitcase and an exhausted look. "Hey," she said when she walked in. "Thanks for letting me crash here." Karen said it was fine. "It's no problem," I said. "Couch is all yours unless you want a guest room." She blinked. "You guys have a guest room?" "Yeah. Karen keeps her yoga stuff in there, but I'll move it." Natalie smiled. "You're already more considerate than my ex." She moved in that night. Karen didn't get home until nearly midnight. Lipstick smudged, perfume stronger than usual. She said Julian had taken her to dinner after the reading. "His energy is just so pure," she gushed. Natalie and I exchanged a glance. Karen didn't notice. The first week, Natalie mostly kept to herself. She worked remotely, wore headphones all day, and cooked her own meals, quiet, respectful, but she saw everything. Karen, meanwhile, was in full romantic bloom. She talked about Julian constantly, his soulful presence, his poetic masculinity, whatever that means. She was out with him 2, sometimes 3 nights a week. One night, I was fixing the sink. Natalie leaned on the counter nearby, sipping tea. "She doesn't ask where you're going," she said. I looked up. "What?" "She doesn't ask where you're going or who you're talking to. Not once." I shrugged. "She's at Julian now." Natalie hesitated. "You okay with that?" I told her I accept it. "That's not what I asked." I tightened the handle. "Doesn't really matter what I feel." She made her choice. I'm just playing along. Natalie gave me a long look. "You're a better actor than I thought." After that, we started talking more. Casual at first, shows we liked, food preferences, dumb childhood stories, then deeper. Her ex had cheated on her with someone from his gym, ghosted her emotionally for 6 months before finally leaving. You start questioning if you were ever actually chosen, she said one night while we sat on the back porch, or just the one that was there. I didn't say much, just nodded. I knew exactly what she meant. Karen came home late that night, humming some song Julian had introduced her to. She didn't even notice us out there. The next evening, Natalie cooked dinner for both of us. Karen was out again. We ate together at the same table where Karen had dropped her polyamory bomb. Natalie was quiet but calm. At the end of the meal, she said, "You know, just because someone redefines a relationship doesn't mean you have to give up everything." I looked at her. "What do you mean?" She shrugged. "You accepted her terms, but that doesn't mean you play dead." That stuck with me. My birthday came around 2 weeks later. Karen forgot. Not a text, not a mention. She was in the shower, getting ready for some sound healing circle Julian had invited her to. I was making coffee when she breezed through the kitchen in a rush. "Hey, I might sleep at his place tonight. Don't wait up." I nodded. "Okay." She paused, looking at me. "You good?" "Yeah," I said. "Totally." Then she was gone. An hour later, Natalie came out of her room, holding a small box. "I figured she forgot," she said. "Happy birthday." Inside was a watch. Nothing fancy, but thoughtful. Clean design, simple leather band. My style exactly. "I noticed your old one broke last month," she said. "Hope it's okay." "It's perfect," I said. "Thank you." We didn't plan anything big. Just ordered burgers, watched a classic movie, had a drink. Easy, normal. At one point, I looked over, and she was laughing at something dumb on screen, and I realized I hadn't seen genuine joy in weeks. When the credits rolled, she looked at me for a long second. "You deserve better than all this, Henry." I didn't answer, just leaned in and kissed her. She didn't pull away. The next morning, I told Karen I had started seeing someone. I said it calmly over breakfast, the same way she had made her announcement weeks ago. She froze. "You're serious?" "Yeah." Her tone changed fast. "Who is she?" "I'd rather not say yet." "That's not transparency." "Henry, we said no secrets." "You also said no dating people we both know." She narrowed her eyes. "So it is someone I know." I didn't answer. She stared at me for a beat too long, then grabbed her bag and left without another word. Karen found out on a Sunday. She'd gotten back early from some farmer's market thing with Julian. I was out running errands. Natalie was home, folding laundry in the living room. She was wearing the watch I'd given her the night before. Karen walked in and froze. "Is that Henry's watch?" Natalie looked up. "No, he gave me this one." Karen's expression cracked. "He gave you, wait." Natalie stood still, calm. "Yeah." Karen blinked fast, like she was trying to reboot her brain. "You're the girl. You and Henry." Natalie didn't flinch. "We've been seeing each other for a little while." "Yes." Karen went full volcanic. "You're my cousin, Natalie. What the hell is wrong with you?" Natalie kept her voice even. "You moved into this house and turned your relationship into a one-way open marriage. You thought there wouldn't be consequences. House. Started sleeping with your co-worker. Left Henry to rot in the background. I didn't plan this. It happened." Karen turned toward the door just as I walked in with groceries. She looked like she'd swallowed a light socket. "You're dating her?" she shouted. "You picked her?" I set the bags down. "I didn't pick anyone. I accepted what you said. You wanted to explore other connections. So did I. With my family, you made rules. I followed them. You said not to date anyone we both knew. But you hadn't spoken to Natalie in months before she showed up. She's blood. She's also the only one who noticed my birthday." Karen stood there breathing hard, hands clenched. "This is betrayal. It's beyond messed up." "You can call it what you want," I said. "You told me to accept who you are." "I did. Now I'm accepting who I am, too." She glared at Natalie. "You too are disgusting." Natalie raised an eyebrow. You can chant about self-love and open connections all day, but if the rules only apply when you benefit from them, they're not principles. They're control. Karen stormed out. She went quiet for about a week. Then the online post started. She didn't name us directly, but the captions weren't subtle. Things like, "Funny how accepting polyamory turns into dating your girlfriend's cousin. Some people weaponize consent to justify betrayal." The comments were mixed. A few of her friends hyped her up. Most stayed neutral. Some asked questions she clearly didn't want to answer. One person replied, "Didn't you start dating someone else first, though?" Another said, "Poly doesn't mean you control who they fall for." Within days, she deleted the posts. But screenshots had already circulated in the friend group. Then came the therapy suggestion. Karen cornered me in the kitchen while Natalie was out. "I think we should go to a poly-friendly couples counselor, just to navigate boundaries better." "We're not a couple anymore," I said. "You said you accepted it." "I did, but accepting doesn't mean I stay frozen while you do whatever you want." Her voice tightened. "So that's it? You and Natalie, and I'm just discarded?" "No," I said. "You discarded me the second you prioritized Julian and called evolution." She blinked, visibly shaken. "I thought we were building something bigger." "You weren't building anything. You were giving speeches and disappearing." A few nights later, she brought someone home, loud on purpose. I didn't say a word. I left and stayed at Natalie's for the weekend. She tried it again the next week. Different guy, same result. Then she started texting me things like, "We need to establish primary versus secondary roles. You shouldn't be living with someone I'm not comfortable with. We never consented to this dynamic." I replied once, "You told me to accept it." I did. You never said I had to like it. After that, I blocked her number. Natalie and I stayed quiet. No big posts, no drama, just distance. Real, deliberate distance. Karen was losing the game she thought she invented. She showed up 2 weeks after I moved in with Natalie. She stood in the lobby holding a reusable grocery bag like we were still sharing a life. Security called up. A woman was downstairs claiming to be my girlfriend and insisting she needed to speak with me. I told them I didn't have a girlfriend, that my partner was already upstairs. They didn't let her through. She left the groceries at the front desk. Some of my favorite things. A peace offering. Inside was a card. "I never meant to lose you. I thought we were evolving. Maybe I pushed too fast. But if you still care about us, we can rebuild. No outside voices, just us. I miss us." I didn't respond. 3 days later, she tried calling from a different number. Left a voicemail. "You misunderstood everything. You twisted what polyamory really is. You use it against me. I never thought you'd stoop this low. You turned Natalie against me. You punished me for being honest." I deleted it. That night, Natalie and I were on the couch finalizing details for a weekend trip. I told her about the voicemail. She didn't get dramatic. She just said, "You don't owe her anything. You know." "I know." Not even a response. Exactly. We didn't post photos. Didn't go on a public revenge tour. But word still got around. Karen's version of events had too many cracks. Friends remembered she jumped into Julian's arms before any of this started, and then jumped into a few others after. People stopped taking sides. They just stopped responding to her. Last I heard, she moved out of our old apartment 2 months after I did. Her latest post said she was reclaiming her truth and healing through tantric meditation. Natalie and I, we're good, really good, calm, grounded, private. She never needed to be explored to feel valuable. She just showed up consistently and didn't need a spotlight to know what love looked like. Karen once said, "Monogamy is a cage." Maybe for her it was. But for me, being with someone who doesn't treat love like a stage performance, that's freedom.